In this video, I'm going to be showcasing logical explanations that help you come closer to understanding God and conceptualizing God. And this is going to be through logical means and logical deduction instead of anything else. Beauty cannot emerge from that which is unconscious. You're able to look around and see a landscape or a tree or a river stream or a beautiful person. And it just seems so obvious that these are real things, and we take them for granted. But if you were to think about it logically, how are these very complex molecular machines and organisms and solar systems, things like this, able to manifest in reality, able to emerge throughout time and space through the guise and control of nothing before them? If you were to think about it, beauty and what is beautiful and intelligent within itself is not able to manifest in reality just due to nothing or just random means in the universe. There has to be a level of intelligence and a level of consciousness in order for consciousness and intelligence to manifest. There has to be a fundamental basis in reality, in space and time, of intelligence, of beautification. For example, we see beautification processes in nature. We see butterflies that become precisely symmetrical, and even if they're slightly asymmetrical, they won't mate. They won't be able to mate a lot of the time. And we see things like solar systems, how we're in a golden area and golden ratio in our solar system to be able to have a moon control our tides and our water, and for life to be able to emerge throughout adaptation. These incredibly hard and seemingly impossible ventures that life produces, we constantly take for granted, but these are a showcase in it of themselves that allows you and I to take in and start to grasp the pure amount of power that life itself is derived from. Now, we're all derived from a certain source, whether or not that source for you is an intelligent design or an intelligent designer, or the absence of both of those, whether or not it was random occurrence, whether or not it was God, whether or not it was an intelligent design. It doesn't really matter in this argument, because what we are able to see is very factual. We observe incredibly complex and intelligent and seemingly conscious organisms and matter and structure. Take the Big Bang Theory, for example. The inception of space and time, perhaps the collaboration and introduction between space and time. Let's say space and time as structures or principles met, and then from there they were able to beautifully interact with one another in a mutual synergistic relationship, and actually were able to feed off of each other, therefore creating inhabitants and creating space. Why would these two things mutually dance with one another? Why not just battle, or why not just fall apart? It's very strange. There seems to be some sort of metaphysical pulling system that guides each and every atom and structure and thing in space and time. So what is God? What is God through this logical deduction? Well, it seems like God could be defined as the overarching mechanism or force that guides space in time and guides the inhabitants that is in that space. What do I mean? Well, take the inception of time. Billions upon billions of years ago. In fact, we don't know when the date was, but take that point. Isn't it weird how from that point of emptiness and seemingly nothingness, everything that you and I are inhabiting now has been manifested and created from that said point? And then hold that idea with the idea of no intelligent design or no intelligent designer or no God. There's a inadequacy and a error between these clashing ideas. They can't necessarily be ideas while existing simultaneously. For intelligence to form from nothingness, for consciousness to form from nothingness, it seems impossible. It seems logically deducible as false. But let's say that there is no intelligent designer or a God. Regardless, we could see this process throughout time and space as seemingly intelligent, as an intelligent design. And is that what we as a species have been conceptualizing as God? These are very pungent questions. Symmetry and asymmetry, chaos and order, feminine and masculine, yin and yang. This phenomenon of humanity observing and defining a balanced structure that's innate to reality goes as far back as human consciousness itself. Those ideas emerged almost simultaneously with humanity. Death and life and this push and pull is intrinsic to the fabric of reality. And this formula that everything is enthralled in and everything is emerged in, that within itself is what produces consciousness. But wouldn't we say that that was already conscious to begin with? That formula was already conscious, or at least semi-conscious? I think that we could rationally deduce that. That which is beautiful does not emerge from that which is unconscious. Beauty does not emerge from that which is unconscious. For us to live in a time with this much meaning and this much intelligence and high abstraction, isn't it impossible for all of this in which we inhabit to be from nothing, to be from randomness? And even if it is, observe what is created from that nothingness. It's completely beautiful. It's completely intelligent. So is that nothingness able to be perceived and categorized as intelligence and perhaps God? It seems like there is an intelligence that goes back. Balance, symmetry, beauty, those are godly things. Chaos, disorder, madness, these are things that are derived from God, but are intrinsically the opposite of what God's motive truly is. However, these principles, good and evil, wicked, beautiful, order, chaos, these things as principles and phenomena cannot emerge without one another. There cannot be order without chaos. There cannot be beauty without that which is ugly. So this synergistic mutual relationship that principles and ideas hold within one another goes down to the deepest levels that atoms go down to. The relationship between space and time seems to have created all that which we know, and they mutually work with one another. Whether that work is a dance or a battle, it's hard to say precisely, but regardless on what it is, it further advances reality itself. What comes up must come down, and this is Newton's third law of relativity. It's practically saying that this push and pull, you get what you give type phenomena is deeply entrenched in all that there is, in all that's observable. Balance and symmetry, beauty and disorder, chaos, ugliness, all these things, they are derived from source. However, they're intrinsically needed for one another to prosper, for one another to have gravity or weight in reality. Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Father seems to be the creator, or that who is able to impregnate, inception, the broad archetype over everything. And then the Son is the vessel, the flesh, the blood, and the bones in which all of us inhabit. And then we have the Holy Spirit, consciousness, intelligence, awareness. And then what feeds down in that Trinity is inhabitable by all of us. And perhaps all of matter in reality, all of structure, and all of what is in space and time. Perversion, hedonism, selflessness, these are almost the antithesis of the principles of the Holy Trinity. And you can kind of see how these structures are constantly at war with one another. And this is just feeding into how ideas and everything in reality has a opposite but perhaps equal reaction. And this reaction seems to have a symmetrical connotation and structure built in. And this symmetrical formula is what creates beauty, is what creates intelligence, is what creates enlightenment. It's what creates and allows for matter to be utilized and to be of purpose and of meaning. When you find a poem in the sand, you contribute it to an author. You don't contribute it to the wind, because how on earth is the wind going to make something so abstract and intelligent? Living in today's age is difficult in many ways, but we are so spiritually closed off due to upbringing and environmental issues, to the point our biological structure within ourselves to help with spiritual guidance and connection to the divine is actually tampered with and poisoned. Therefore, these organs and these structures in the body to help connect us to source have been tampered with and are unhealthy in the masses. So understanding this video, it might be incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult for me to make because our souls are tied to our flesh and to the world, and it's difficult for us to reach enlightenment and reach that level of God frequency because our pineal gland and our amygdala and our bodies are submerged in chaos and poison. So we are at a disadvantage as a society right now in terms of pursuing source and pursuing connection to the divine because we are so jacked up on poison. One way you could combat this is through meditation and fasting, but also just watching what your environment is putting into you, whether that's food or what you touch or what you breathe or the towers in which you're around. Go out in the woods for a weekend and remove all common invention from you and just live as a monk or as a primate. And you'll find that after even just minutes of being out there, you're connecting to something that feels warm and enlightening by the second. We live in concrete jungles and theatrical plays in politics. We're more diverse, yet more at battle with each other than ever before. We're more split apart than ever before. We're the most connected, yet we're the most divided. We gotta have discernment through these times and be grounded as much as possible, or else we're going to pass, and everything that we have known and built will pass over us. Strange how that happens. In summary, beauty and intelligence cannot form from that which is unconscious, and I mean that potently metaphysically. Consciousness precedes matter. It observes, defines, and animates matter. The observer effect in quantum physics proves observation alters the observed, hinting that consciousness shapes reality. The precision of pi, the Fibonacci sequence, the golden ratio, sacred geometry, these are all not coincidence, but they are signatures of source that we could easily grasp onto. And it's incredibly grounding and motivating to be connected to such a thing. And it's such a shame that we're practically forced to be so drawn away. But you don't have to, even if you're at a disadvantage through the first world environment that is poisoning you seemingly. It's okay. And source still has your back. What is righteous will emerge victorious. Beauty is harmony between complexity and simplicity, chaos and order. This is how beauty emerges through space and time. It's the battle and dance and mutual synergistic relationship between structure in reality. And that dance or that battle or that relationship cannot be true and cannot happen without everything in space and time, including space and time itself, perhaps, to be emerged in consciousness. At least that's what it seems, and at least that's what could be logically deduced, and perhaps we could find a way to quantify this. God is inhabiting and embodying itself or himself through everything, all at once, all the time, and it will forever be that case. Connection to source, to escape, yet embody and know deeper our flesh is the point of life. We need to be connected to source as much as we can, because if we're not, we're disconnected from ourselves and from others. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had a pleasure making it, and let me know what you think about these ideas in the replies in the comments, and I'll be making more videos like this, obviously. Please check the description for my socials and stuff, and a description on the video, and everything that's even slightly relevant to what's going on in this. Thank you guys so much for sticking around, especially to this point in the video, and have a good day, good week, good month, and I deeply love you guys, and I deeply love the haters. Keep sending those hate comments. It allows me to look deeper on myself. Thank you guys and gals. Have a great day, week, month. You already know what's going on.